Hey, Father. What you up to today?
Today,
Yes.
just preparing for tomorrow.
All right.
No mass this evening, so
Good.
taking it easy.
So you got a break today. So this morning we're meeting with Father Musa, also known as Moses, Kabuga Jikandi. And Father Moses, as we call him, is the parish priest of Sacred Heart of Jesus, Roman Catholic Church here in St. Philip. Good morning, Father.
Good morning, Chris.
So today, this interview is to help us to understand our priests a little better. So I have a few questions for you. First of all, with a name like Moses Kabuga Jikandi, that's not a Caribbean or Western name. Where do you come from, Father?
Originally, I'm from Kenya. That's where I was born. That's where I was raised. Yeah, Kenya, in East Africa.
What part of Kenya?
In Rift Valley province, in Nakuru County.
Nakuru County.
Yes.
Okay. And so tell me where do your names come from? I know that names are very important to our African ancestors.
Okay. When I was born, I was given the name Kabuga, which is my name, which, of course, there is a process of naming someone like that. So I was named after the brother of my mother, who was called Kabuga too. Then, of course, Gikandi is family name. My father's name was Gikandi. And then Moses is my baptismal name. Because when you're baptized, you're given a name. Yes.
So that's why we see a lot of African, like the nuns and priests, they have a Western name as well as an African name.
Yeah, mostly a Western name, or which is either biblical, taken from the Bible characters, is always a baptism name, and it comes as a first name. Then there is a family name, and then a surname.
Okay. Do you have any siblings?
Yes, I'm the last born of 7. We are 3 brothers and 4 girls. So I'm the last born of the 7.
And any of them in the religious life?
No, unfortunately, no.
So tell me a little bit about your childhood.
Well, my childhood was a normal village boy childhood. Looking after the cows, the sheep, going to the garden to cultivate. Then the time came going to school, whereby we went by foot every morning. We'll be out in the house by 6 because we were supposed to reach our school by 7, and so on. So it was a normal doing what boys will do, sometimes going to hunt in the bush and so on, sometimes just having games with other children and so on. It was interesting growing, and where I come from the village. I mean, in those days we were many children in the village itself. So in the evenings we will meet somewhere in one homestead, and we have games up until 8 o'clock in the night. And then of course the parents will call you back inside because it's getting dark and so on. And it was fun growing up.
Sounds very similar to our Caribbean experience as children. Not nowadays, but
yeah.
many years ago, like the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, even in Kenya that has changed. I mean, there are places that you get that still, but because of all these technology and so on, most homesteads now they have television, children have cell phone, so you don't get that aspect, to see children so much outside having games and so on. It's still there, but not like before, not like when we were growing up. Nowadays, you will find children prefer, to watch TV, to play games on their cell phone and so on. So that has shifted to more individualistic way of growing up and so on.
So tell us now, why did you choose to become a priest?
Well, I came from, I was brought up by Catholic parents and so on. And so from young age, I was into church. I was altar server and so on. And then when I went to high school, we had a program which was religious studies. And we had two groups. I was in a boarding school where you will stay in school for 3 months. Eat, sleep, study, and you only go home when you are on vacation. And so during that time, we had some nuns who will come on every Tuesday. In the evening, we had an hour of religious, gatherings and so on. So those from Protestants, they used to meet in one room, which was called Christian Union. And then we had the Catholics will meet in one room, which was called Catholic Action, CA. So we had CU and CA. So from there, I remember when I was in Form 3, I was appointed the chairman, the leader of the group. Although I was an altar server from there, and I was going to.
So you were an altar server?
Yes, I was an altar server from a younger age, maybe after my first communion and so on. Then now, in high school, when I was elected the leader of this group, Catholic Action, I used to interact so much with these nuns who will come, and one of the nuns will usually comment, have you ever thought of becoming a priest? You look like a priest and so on. And, when we get a chance to go to the parish where the school was, I will still do the altar serving even when I was at school. And so she put this idea, then she started giving me some posters, some books, talking to me more about vocation, and that's why my desire started growing of becoming a priest. Yeah.
Nice. And so today we are actually, it's fortuitous that we're recording this on the day that you celebrate your ordination to priesthood.
Yes.
4 years.
4 years.
4 years as a priest here in Barbados. Tell me, what has the journey been like?
Well, the journey has been interesting, surprising. When you are aspiring for something, you don't have the full picture of it. Mm-hmm. And only when now you enter into the field that you start to understand what this is all about. And so the journey has both been surprising and exciting, enjoyable, with its joys, sometimes some sadness in it. But all in all, surprising because sometimes what you expect is not what you get. And sometimes what you don't expect is what you find. So it has been a journey of surprise, experiences that, strengthen my vocation, and a situation which sometimes lead you to some questions also. Yeah.
So I know the last 2 Sundays we had First Communion and Confirmation.
Yes.
And I remember you telling the First Communicants and the Confirmation candidates that this is now the beginning of the journey.
Yes.
So it sounds like something that you've lived so that you can share with them.
Yes, and that's what I'm telling you, that when we're in the seminary doing our studies, you don't have a full picture of how the priesthood is. You go there, you study philosophy, you study theology, and those are book knowledge and so on. And then when now you come to the field, it's different, because there is no way I will come here on a Sunday and talk about theological interpretation of the scripture and so on. Is how you apply it, how you know your parishioners, how you know your community, what is happening there. Then now you are able to apply, what you read in the scripture to that. And so it's only when you reach in the field that you begin to live out, is like the starting point. The studying and so on is like preparation. It's like, preparation for it. It begins when you enter into the field.
What do you do for enjoyment?
Well, in Barbados, there are so many things to do which I enjoy. Sometimes I go to the beach. Sometimes I take a drive. I have gone to most areas in Barbados. I just drive. Sometimes I get lost. Sometimes I don't know my way back. But now at least I'm very familiar with almost the whole of the country and so on. I read, and sometimes I spend that time to prepare for my homilies for the week, because almost every day in the week I have mass, except on Tuesday. But every week I have a mass, so I need preparation. So I take that as preparation time. Sometimes I watch a movie. I like to watch movies and so on. Sometimes I quote to the parishioners, and to the end, to the point where some parishioners says I like drama, to watch drama in TV and so on. Because some things I relate to them is about these shows that have drama about relationships and so on. So I do that also. I like meeting friends too. I have met a couple of friends whereby sometimes I will meet them and have a chat, and sometimes just relax and reflect and yeah.
So over your time with the parish, what do you see as the most important things that need to be done to grow our parish?
Well, Sacred Heart is a parish with a lot of potential. For one, because it is like a family. People are united together. People are able to connect with each other a lot. And what I see is Sacred Heart becoming that community that welcomes, and I see it growing to a place whereby people can come and find. A place where they can be embraced, they can be listened to. We have our own ups and downs, our challenges as a community. But at the same time, we have that potential to grow to a very vibrant community. That's what I look forward for. The day that we will be that community which will have that sense of ownership of this parish, where everybody feels this is my place. This is my parish, and a time whereby we don't have to look for somebody to come out there to do stuff for us, whereby we can own up to the parish as our own community and build it up together, which we have potential to do.
And one of the things as a parishioner I noticed is that when you have a visiting priest as opposed to a living priest, it's a very different dynamic.
Yeah, it's different because a visiting priest, a priest who does not live in the community, most of the time, you don't have, people don't feel as if it's a community. Right now, most of the time I spend here, and now and then you will find people coming, even people who are not Catholic. I have seen even people who are not Catholic, Anglicans, just come just for someone to talk to, and that one has, some has started even coming, throughout to Sunday masses because of that. Before you came a while ago, I had a couple who came, just to say hi. They are here, but as soon as they see the car there, they come in, they pass by, and that's how the parish will grow when they feel, I can go, I can find someone who will listen, somebody who I can ask a question and so on. So it's a different, coming to have mass and go, and having someone in the parish is a lot of difference.
Who would you say is your you look up to as a mentor, whether it's locally, whether it's a saint? Do you have that type of mentorship?
Yeah, my patron saint is Padre Pio. Padre Pio has been always my patron saint, and I admire him a lot. First of all, he's a saint in this age, and a saint who had his own struggles and his own strength. The struggles he went because of his own dedication, his own call, and what God was trying to do in him. He went through a lot from his own community, the Franciscans, from the hand of the church, from the people he was serving, and so on. I remember what inspires me a lot is when his father is sick. His father was sick and dying, And Padre Pio went to see him, and his father was like, you are healing others. I hear stories. You are healing people. Why don't you do it to me? And he says, I can't ask anything for myself. I can't ask anything for myself. And what I can do for you is listen to your confession. And of course, the father don't want to confess, and he tells the father, okay, what we will do, I will mention your sins, and all you will say is, Lord, have mercy. And he did, and the father was in tears, because he told him the truth. Not because he knew, but because God revealed him. He had that gift of seeing a human soul, a human heart from deep within, And I admire him because of his dedication to do the will of God no matter what. When he had those signatures, some of the community members had a different interpretation why he has them. And he went through a lot, being taken to medical examination and so on to find what it is. But in all those moments, he remained humble. And today, he's a saint. He's a saint. So that's who I admire a lot.
So, do you believe that saints are relevant today?
Yes, they are. They are. They are relevant, and we have a lot of people, both in religious life, in priesthood, and so on, lay people also. We have a lot of people who are saints, who are living saintly life, who are striving to do the will of God. Yes, we struggle, and yes, saints are not born; they are made. And they are made by their own perseverance in daily experiences that they go through. And I see them. We have a lot of people like that who will give themselves without worrying, what others will say, because they know in their heart to whom they are doing it for.
One final question. We have a lot of challenges in Barbados with gun violence, with moral breakdown. What is your advice to Catholics first and to the rest of the community?
I think what I will say is, if we have strong families, and if we bring up our children, encouraging them to know the Lord, to dedicate themselves to church, to come to church, to attend Mass, and so on, there will be a difference. There will be a difference in the society. One of the things I find is, we don't encourage our children to dedicate themselves to come to Mass. Some of them are good and they maintain that Christian faith even when they don't attend, but they make a difference when they come every Sunday, when they come often, because church changes something in a person. Look at it, even in our congregation, among our congregation today, those who are dedicated, those who have, I won't say everybody, but those who have held the family life, is people who stuck there. Even when they didn't have any reason to stay, they stayed, they hung on there. And it make a difference. Sometimes we don't see that difference. And that's why today the young people may say, okay, there is nothing for me there. There is nothing for me to go. Just go, sit, listen to the preaching and so on and go. No, it's not just that. Something changes without even us being aware of, because God molds us. What we hear sometimes don't make an impact there. But sometime in life, you will remember, I had this, and I can apply it to what I'm doing. And so to be able to change our society, we need to rededicate again to the faith and to God, because we have reached a place whereby, the young generation, I was asking the First Communion and Confirmation students about if they pray. Yes, they say they pray some, and some were honest, they don't, But as a family, and as a Catholic family, we should encourage them to do that, Sometimes they will not feel right, sometimes they will prefer to do something else. But when we keep insisting on this, it will make a difference. And it will make a difference from here even to the society outside there. And that brings the whole new way of seeing life and changing our mentality from becoming a society that is violent to a society which seek peace, which even in the midst of misunderstanding, quarrel, and so on, a society that reflects before acting, because of the impact being brought by church and so on, church community, church parish, and so on.
Reminds me of the teaching about shine your light for the whole world to see.
Yeah, exactly.
Father Moses, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you, Chris, for this and so on.
I'll make sure I share it with the community eventually.
Thank you, I appreciate it.